Hello Raj, am I audible to you? Okay, good morning students. I hope I am audible to you. Is it so? Am I properly audible to you? Please tell me so we can start the session. So very good morning to all of you. We are going to start your session now for the B Triple E subject. And in the last session, we had started with the unit number one, that is the DC circuit. Okay, and in the last session, we had discussed about certain definitions on the, you can say that, based on the electrical circuits like the current, voltage, EMF or electrical potential, power, energy, resistance. So certain definitions which we already discussed in the last session about the charge, and that is relevant with the our current and as per the time, right? So that is the one of the thing we discussed in the last session, as well as we also see that how the number of the electrons and the energy of one electron will be identified the charge equation, that is by the last equation which is represented over here. So this is the charge definition, and I have given the example also what is positively charged and negatively charged over a conductor or over a material. Then after we discuss about the current definition and how it is relevant with the our charge, right? So that we discussed in the our last session. Also we discussed the electrical potential and the EMF, right? According to the value of work, or you can say that the electrical energy. So as we have the battery or the dynamo, the source of the voltage we have. So whatever the electrical potential you identify, the unit is equal to volt, and 1 volt is equal to 1 joule per coulomb. So it is W by Q, and any charge have ability to work or ability to do the work, that is we known as the electrical potential. And also we discussed that what is the difference between the electrical potential and electrical potential difference. So according to this, when you identify the two terminals or the 2 point in the electrical circuit where you can measure, or where you can say that you identify the potential difference, right? That is we call, or you can say that the that we known as the potential difference across that terminal. Then after we discuss one more parameter, that is the power, the electrical power and the energy. So whenever the direct current of I ampere is flowing into the electrical circuit, you measure the voltage across that circuit, that is we can say that in terms of volt. So by that you can identify the power, that is equal to, or P is equal to V into I. So electrical energy, whenever you identify, it is just like the power with respect to, you can say that you just multiply with respect to time. So it is P multiplication of T, that is you can say that the electrical energy. And from that you can also identify the power also. So power is equal to energy divided by time. And I given the example over here that 1 kilowatt hour energy if you have, then how you can identify with respect to joule, that is you can say that the electrical energy. Then after we discuss about the resistance definition, and how the resistance is going to be depends upon the construction parameters, like we can say that the specification parameters of the resistivity, length of the conductors or the length of the material, and the cross sectional area of that material. So based on that we also discussed that what could be the definition of resistance. Then after the point we discussed, that is the resistance or resistivity or the specific resistance, how we can identify. So whatever the resistance which is offered by any material having an unit dimension, that is we call the resistivity of the specific resistance of the material. So this equation, it is very helpful as per the construction point of view. And also we discussed that the unit of the resistivity, that is we can say that it is ohm into meter. And the conductivity, simply you have to do the inverse of the resistivity, that you can identify the conductivity. Are you getting? Are you getting my point? So this thing we discussed in the last session, and then after we see that what is the Ohm's law. I hope this is clear to you everyone, that the definition or the statement we have identified over here for the Ohm's law, that the current flowing through in a you can say that the current flowing through in a circuit, or in the circuit, it is directly proportional to the value of applied voltage, and it is inversely proportional to the value of resistance. So this equation is actually represented over here, that I is equal to V by R. So I, it is directly proportional to the value of applied voltage, and it is inversely proportional to the value of resistance. At that time we can say that we, whatever the temperature we have provided, that is we assuming as a constant. So over here it is also given the example by the circuit diagram. Suppose if you consider the first diagram in which you apply a 1 volt supply, suppose the value of resistance you will have of 1 ohm, or whatever the current is flowing, if you identify it is 1 ampere. So in this case you can say that whatever the resistance of the circuit you have of 1 ohm, and from that you can also identify the power which is consumed. Now, the second diagram, just it is indicating that if we change the voltage from the terminal, then how the power it is going to be measured over here, right? And yes, this thing is also, we had proved that if you say that whatever the applied voltage, it is directly proportional with respect to current, so we'll get the linear diagram, or you can say that the linear waveform you have. So you can identify from this slope also the value of resistance, right? Whatever the value of voltage you have, whatever the value of current you have, from that slope you can identify the value of resistance. And this shows what the resistance value you are going to consider over here. As per the temperature, it is constant. Now this is the Ohm's law, and the definition, the limitations of the Ohm's law over here, that this law cannot be applied to the unilateral network. And a unilateral network, you can say that the elements like the diode, transistor, so you can say that it is not have the same voltage current relation for both the direction of the current. So this is one of the limitations. You can say that for the Ohm's law, it cannot be applied for the diode or the transistor, because they, you can say that it is the device of unilateral elements, or you can say that it is the unidirectional current flowing into that circuit or flowing through that element or the device. Now, what is about the second limitation? The Ohm's law is not applicable for the non-linear elements. See, unilateral network, that means in which the elements, whatever it is representing, like the diode. Have you heard about the diode or not? This is P, this is N, or anode and cathode we identify. Is it so? So anode and cathode we identify. So when you uh, see that when the when you give the voltage over here from the source, in this way the current will start to flow. But if you see, if I'm changing the direction of the battery source over here, can the current is flowing? If I'm change the terminology of the source over here, means in the reverse bias condition, can the current flowing through the diode? Yes or no? It is not flowing, right? Exactly. So this is what we call the unilateral network, in which the current is flowing in one direction only as per the condition. Are you getting now? What is the difference over here? Now, the second one, it is also indicating the same thing, that Ohm's law is not applicable for the non-linear elements like whatever we use, diode and all that. And the third one, which is given over here with respect to example point of view, that the nonlinear elements are those which do not give the current through it is not exactly proportional to the value of voltage applied. That means the resistance value of those elements changes for the different values of the voltage and current. Example, the nonlinear elements like the thyristor, electrical arc, in which whatever the applied voltage, which is not flowing the current value as per the resistance value. So you can simply say that if this is your current value, you have the applied value of voltage over here. If this will not follow, then you can say that you cannot apply the Ohm's law. So there are so many elements. We have the nonlinear elements in which whenever the applied voltage you are giving, with respect to that, the current is not going to be changed. That means either it will be shaped like this, or you can say that it will be shaped like this. So it is not fulfill the characteristics of this one. Then you can say that you cannot apply the Ohm's law. This is one of the limitations you have of the Ohm's law. Are you getting or not? See, if you have any confusion, if you have any doubt, you can put any time in the chat box section. Okay. So no need to worry about that part. Now, what are the factors affecting the resistance? As we discussed in our previous session, that the resistance value having an equation based on the you can say that the different factors which is affected over here. So the equation what is fulfilled over here, this is the equation, and you can see over here the resistance of any material that will be depending upon the four parameters or the four factors. The first factor, that is which type of the material you are using, copper, aluminum. So what type of the material you are using uh, as a conductor, how much the length of that conductor or the material we have, as well as the cross sectional area of that material, and what could be the temperature of that material. So at which temperature we are doing this measurement, that is also the main important thing over here. So according to this resistance value, right, according to this resistance equation, rho, that is means what, the resistivity, L, that is tends to length, and A is equal to cross sectional area. So right now the example given over here with this different diagram, if you have the higher resistivity, can we say that the resistance of the conductor is higher one? Because R is proportional to what? The resistivity. So if we can say that the resistivity will be higher one, can we say that the resistance of that material is also higher one? Can we say that? Same thing you can do, that if the resistivity is lower, the resistance will be lower. Yes or no? Then you can see over here the second parameter. If the length of the conductor, if you increasing the length of conductor, it will be have a greater resistance value. It is also directly proportional, R, which is proportional to length of conductor. So if the length of the conductor increasing, the resistance is also increasing, vice versa. That means if the length of conductor is decreasing, the resistance is also decreasing. And now if you see the third parameter, that is the resistance proportional to 1 by A. It is inversely proportional relation. So if I'm increasing the cross sectional area, the resistance will be decreasing. Or if you decreasing the cross sectional area, that will increasing the resistance value. So it is, you can say that the vice versa process. When you have a greater area or greater cross sectional area of the conductor, you will get the lower value of the resistance. So right now in this three diagram which is given at the bottom part of this slide, if you see the first diagram, if you see the first picture, this is, let's say it is the copper material which is given over here having a resistance R1, and this is what we have, the iron material. So if you have the resistivity of iron which is greater than the copper, then we can say that the resistance of the iron material, it is greater than the resistance of the copper material. You can just take the example over here as per the consideration, that if the resistivity of the iron material, if it is greater than the resistivity of the copper material, can we say that the resistance of the iron, it is greater than the resistance of the copper material or copper conductor? Yes. Same thing if you compare over here with the length of the conductor. In this diagram, the second diagram, we have two copper conductor with the different length. So if you see this first conductor and second conductor, if the length of the conductor is smaller for the R1, and if you see the length of the conductor is, length of the conductor 2 is higher than the length of the conductor of R1, sorry, the copper first conductor, then we can say that the resistance of the second conductor, which is higher compared to the resistance of first conductor. So this case is given over here on the basis of the length. And if you see the third diagram, you can see the cross sectional area of the conductor in this diagram. This is first conductor, this is second conductor. Which conductor having a cross sectional area more, and which conductor having the cross sectional area which is less? You can see the difference over here in the diagram also. Which one having the cross sectional area more or higher one, and which conductor having the cross sectional area which is lesser? R1 having a more, or you can say that the first conductor having a more cross-sectional area compared to the second one. But as for the relation of the resistance and the cross-sectional area, the R1 resistance value, it is, you can say that much lesser than the value of resistance R2. Or you can say that the cross-sectional area of the second one is lower. So the resistance of that material will be higher one. So this is, we can say that the factor affecting the resistance component here. Is there any question in this slide or in this topic? You just keep remember that what are the factors affecting to this resistance: the resistivity of the material, length of the conductor or the length of the material, cross-sectional area of the material, and the temperature of the material. So these are the four factors which is affected, right, to the resistance of the material. Is there any question here? Is there any doubt of here? You can put into the chat box section also if you have any. Okay. So now we will see that, see, we have discussed over here three parameters: the material, length, and cross-sectional area. But how it is affected with respect to temperature, that we will see now. How the resistance is affected with the temperature, that we will see now in the next slide. What is the relation of the temperature and what is the relation of the resistance? With respect to resistance, we can say that. How it is affected, that we will see now. So over here, you can see the first sentence given over here, that an increasing in the temperature in the result in the increasing in the resistance level. So just remember that when the temperature is increasing, the resistance value or the resistance level is also increasing. Am I audible to you properly, all of you? Darshan, the other students are getting the voice properly, so you might be check your internet connection. Okay. Okay. So as per this sentence given over here, once the temperature of the material is increasing, the resistance is also increasing. So can we say that they have the relation of directly proportional relation, right? Temperature and the resistance having the directly proportional relation. So we can say that it has a linear relation. The resistance increasing almost linearly. That means you can say that it is a straight line with the increasing in the temperature. So right now, if we talk about this characteristics with the calculation also here, in this characteristics, what actually representing over here, see, you can see over here on the y-axis you have the resistance, on the x-axis you have the temperature. Darshan, you can do the one thing, you can leave the session and you can rejoin session now. So that might be resolve your problem, because I confirm that the other students are getting the voice properly. So maybe because of the network connectivity issue, you are having this problem. Okay, so we'll continue over here. We'll draw the graph between the resistance and the temperature. So y-axis we have the resistance, on the x-axis we have the temperature. Now in this graphical representation, what actually representing over here, that at 0 degree, suppose here you can see that the resistance having some value. That means see the reason that we identify over here with this mathematical expression also. see one any, you can say that as per the physics point of view, any material you have, in that material whatever the electrons, and you can say that the composition of the atom will be there, right? Are you agree with me? Any material you are selecting, they have some atoms in the physical composition. So you also know that the composition of the that material with this atom having some you can say that electron components and some photon components also. So it is, you can say that whenever you have some temperature variant, or you can say that the temperature difference in the material, that will lead to the electrons to be flow into the circuit, or the electrons to be moved out from that position of that from the outer orbit, because certain energy you require to releasing that electron from the energy that outer orbit. So because of that situation, if you see the physical composition of the structure, yeah, it is properly, you can say that it is the basis on the physics only, that when the electrons are to be removed from that outer orbit, some new component it will be present there, or the combination of this electrons with the, you can say that photons and the composition of that, it will may change the value of the resistance at the end. Are you getting or not? That is because of the physical composition, we will identify that the resistance is changed with respect to temperature. It is nothing new. It is just because of its physical composition. Now, if we go, yeah, we discuss about over here that if you just stated over here, or if you see over here, at 0 degree temperature, the resistance is not zero, because whatever the equipment we are using in the actual circuit, right, they have some physical composition, and because of that certain value of the resistance is always there. I again repeat my sentence here. If you see that the conductor having some resistance value at 0 degree temperature, if you start increasing this temperature, so the resistance is not start with the zero, it is having some value at 0 degree. But if you see, when you start increasing the value of temperature over here, the resistance is also increasing. Yes or no? So at suppose T degree centigrade, you will identify the resistance value is equal to R suffix T. And at 0 degree, you will have R0 component. At 0 degree centigrade, you will have R0 resistance value. That means it is the resistance value, but at a 0 degree, and RT means the resistance of the same conductor at T degree centigrade. Now, from this equation, if we say that the resistance variation with respect to time, if we identify, right, then what we can write over here, that whatever the difference or the change in the resistance is how much? What is the change in the resistance we have? RT minus R0 component. Can we say it is the change of the resistance value? Now, we can say that the value of this component, if you identify with respect to our time, it is given over here with this, we can say that the relation what is obtained over here, that RT is equal to the resistance at the T degree centigrade, the final temperature, and the R0 component at 0 degree centigrade. If you take the ratio over here, then you will get the value of this component. That means of delta R component. Delta R is equal to what? It is equal to 1 by T0, R0 into T. So this R0 into T, that is indicating what? That the whatever the change in the resistance value what we identify, that is directly proportional to the value of R0 component. It is also directly proportional to the value of, we can say that the rise in the temperature, what the temperature we finally obtain over here. So RT minus R0, can we say that it is directly proportional to the value of R0 into T? Yes or no? So this component is represented over here of R0 and T. Now this 1 by T0, that is we can say that it is the temperature of the coefficient or temperature coefficient of the resistance. So that we can identify over here, uh, that is equal to what? R T minus R0. Actually we write in this way, it is directly proportional to the value of R0 into T, the change in the resistance value. And this proportional value, if you separate out or if you're releasing, then what you will write over here, RT minus R0 is equal to alpha 0 into R0 into T. That alpha 0 that we write over here, it is we call the temperature coefficient of the resistance. So when you rewrite this equation, just a minute, I will use a blank screen over here. So when you have a final temperature of RT and you identify the change in the resistance value of IS0 component, that will write over here in terms of what? Alpha 0 R0 into T. So if we rewrite this equation over here, yes, Raj, you can rejoin the session. So if you want to identify the RT component, what is RT component from this? We just shift this to the other side of the equal sign. So what is RT now? RT is equal to R0 plus alpha 0 R0 into T. And now we can say that we can just separate out the R0 component from the right hand side. So what is the equation now? RT is equal to R0 into bracket 1 plus alpha 0 R0 into T. So this is what we getting the final resistance value equation based on the initial value of the resistance, coefficient function, initial value of the resistance. Sorry, this is not to be there, and T. Right. So this is the equation we have 1 plus alpha 0 into T. T is your rise in the temperature. And this alpha 0, that you can say that it is the constant function you have. That is we call the temperature coefficient of the resistance at 0 degree centigrade. So its value, it is depends upon the nature of the material and the temperature. So from this also we can say that the alpha 0 component is how much? From this equation, can we say that alpha 0, can we rewrite like this? Alpha 0 is equal to RT minus R0 divided by R0 into T. This is also you can write from this equation. Now, if I'm simply giving you one example over here at two different temperature, how we can identify this value? Are you getting up to here? Is there any confusion in this one? You just tell me if you have any confusion over here. Shall we go ahead now? Now, I'm just clear this thing. Now, what I'm saying over here, that if we taking the two different case over here, like RT1, just see over here, Suppose if I'm taking RT1 and the second is RT2. This is a two resistance value of the conductor I will obtain over here at different temperature like T1 and T2. So T1 and over here I can say it is a T2. Two different temperature value I will identify this component. At two different temperature T1 and T2 we identify the resistance value. So can we say that we have to assume over here according to this the coefficient of the function alpha 1 and alpha 2 also. This is, you can say that the corresponding temperature coefficient. So now if we take over here that at initial condition, let the conductor is heated from the initial temperature of T1 degree centigrade to the final temperature of T2 degree centigrade. So as per our equation, what we can write our equation over here? What is our final equation or a final value? RT2 is equal to RT1 into the bracket. What we written? Alpha into T. So alpha T1 to, or sorry, alpha T1 into bracket. The temperature difference what we have, that is T2 minus T1 as per our previous equation. This is what you write, it is equation number 1. Now, can we say that this is when the temperature is rise, at that time we identify the RT2 is equal to RT1 into bracket 1 plus alpha T1, T2 minus T1. But now we can say that at the same conductor, when it is cooled from the T2 to T1, that means in the reverse direction, if you are assuming in the reverse direction, that when the temperature rise will be there, it is from T1 to T2, we identify the resistance value of RT2. But now you can say that when the temperature is cooled down, can we say now we go for T2 to T1? So what we can identify over here, the resistance value, can we say it is RT1 is equal to, the final value is at that time the initial value is equal to what? RT2 1 plus the coefficient of the function alpha T2, and the temperature difference we will take over here is T1 minus T2. This is our second equation. This is just, I am giving the example over here. See this alpha value, this is at the time, you can say that it is the temperature coefficient. It is the temperature coefficient. This is alpha T1, this is alpha T2. This is the temperature coefficient. See, for the first equation, you can say that at initial condition, whatever the temperature you have, that you can consider over here, it is alpha T1. When you see in the reverse case, when the temperature is T2 and you go for the T1, at that time, whatever the alpha value you have obtained, that or the temperature is you have, that you can say it is the alpha T2 temperature coefficient. Now, if we just substitute this equation number 2 into the first equation over here, see RT1 value I am going to put over here. So what value I am getting over here now? RT2 is equal to RT2 into bracket what we have, 1 plus alpha T2, T1 minus T2. This is first bracket. The second bracket, it is equal to what? 1 plus alpha T1, T2 minus T1. Right? So from this, can we say that this RT2 is going to be cancelled out over here from both the side of the equal sign? So now what is the equation you have? 1 is equal to, this 2 bracket will be as it is now, 1 plus alpha T2, T1 minus T2, 1 plus alpha T1, T2 minus T1. Now from this, one of the bracket I am going to transfer to the other side of the equal sign. So now what we are going to do over here, I am going to transfer this paragraph to the other side of the equal sign. So it will be now at the denominator. So I'm just rewrite this equation over here, that 1 divided by 1 plus alpha t1 t2 minus t1 is equal to, the rest of the right hand side equation is as it is, 1 plus alpha t2 t1 minus t2. Now this equation right now we have obtained over here. Now if I'm changed the direction over here from t1 minus t2 to t2 minus t1, can we write the minus sign over here? I'm changing the direction over here. It is right now it is given t1 minus t2. So if I'm change the direction over here from t2 minus t1, can I write minus sign over here? Yes or no? Just a minute, I will just clear this. This thing is not required for you right now. So I'll just erase this component. Now, after rewrite that equation of t1 minus t2 to t2 minus t1, I will put minus sign, and that I'm going to transfer to the other side. So I'm just rewriting this equation over here, that 1 divided by 1 plus alpha t1 t2 minus t1. What can I write over here? 1 minus alpha t2. It is now t2 minus t1. Now I want to identify the alpha t2 component here. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to rewrite this equation. I have transfer this equation to the other side of the equal sign, and this one. So what I will rewrite over here, alpha t2 t2 minus t1 is equal to 1 minus, can I write 1 divided by 1 plus alpha t1 t2 minus t1. I'm just rewrite this equation here, that's why. And now if I want to identify alpha t2 component, then what could be the alpha t2 component? The t2 minus t1 that I am going to transfer to the other side of the equal sign. Also you can take first of all the LCM, and then after you can transfer to the other side. So now I'm just rewrite over here t2 minus t1. If I'm taking the LCM over here, what can I write? 1 plus alpha t1 t2 minus t1 minus 1 divided by, the denominator part is as it is, now you can say over here this 1 is cancelled out, alpha t1 into bracket t2 minus t1. See this equation, I am just rewrite over here. I am taking the LCM over here. This denominator, it is multiplied with this 1 minus 1 divided by the total denominator we write over here. So this 1 plus alpha t1 t2 minus t1 I just multiply here, minus 1 divided by, I will write total, it is equal to 1 plus alpha t1 t2 minus t1. So this 1 will be cancelled out here, and then after you can transfer this t2 minus t1 to the other side of the equal sign. So what we can now have over here, alpha t2 is equal to, can we write alpha t1 t2 minus t1 divided by 1 plus alpha t1 T2 minus T1 multiplied by 1 by T2 minus T1 that I transfer from the other side of the equal sign. So this is going to be cancelled out now. This is cancelled out. So now whatever the equation is representing, it is alpha T2 is equal to alpha T1 divided by 1 plus alpha T1, T2 minus T1. So that is the, we can say that the function or the coefficient relation with respect to the other coefficient relation. So this thing you can keep in mind, that what could be the temperature coefficient over here with respect to the first one. So it is alpha T2 is equal to alpha T1 divided by 1 plus alpha T1, T2 minus T1. Okay. So now back to the our slide. Is there any question here in this representation? We just identify the temperature coefficient relation. So yeah, you may assume over here that this is T2. So you can, as per our previous equation that we already written, that alpha T is equal to what we written? Alpha 0 divided by 1 plus alpha 0 into T. This is, you can say it is a generalized equation in terms of final temperature and the initial temperature rise. Sorry, initial temperature. This is, I'm just taking over here two temperature difference. That's it. Are you getting now? Is there any question here? Okay, so now I am back to the our slide. Now, over here in this characteristics, it is representing that once the temperature is increasing, with respect to that, the resistance is also increasing. And remember that there are some factors which is mainly depends upon the values or the change parameter over here, that the change in the resistance, that is based on these three parameters. The value of the resistance at initial temperature, that is, you can say that R0 component, the rise of the temperature, and alpha 0. So this, you can say that it is indicating the equation of alpha 0 into R0 into T. So alpha 0 value, it is different for different types of the materials we are using, like the alloy, steel, copper, that will be identified. And based on that, you can say that the effect of the temperature are different. So this thing is actually representing that when you have a different types of the material, you will get the different types of, we can say that, the value, like silver, copper, gold, aluminum, tungsten, platinum. Every you can say that the material have a different composition, and we can say that the temperature coefficient of the resistance is different. So this is indicating that if you have any materials that you can identify the temperature coefficient of the resistance, that means alpha 0 component, and that is different for every types of the material. Now you can say over here, this is at 0 degree centigrade, but if you see, if we extend it to the other side of the that sign, it is indicating at minus T0 component. It is inferred to the zero resistance temperature. It is zero temperature. It means when you can assume over here that at 0 degree centigrade, you have certain value of the resistance. But when the resistance is equal to 0, when the resistance is 0, so when you extend this line to the other side, it will meet at minus T0 degree centigrade. So that is actually indicating what? At this minus temperature, the resistance value can be 0. Are you agree with me? Based on this. Yes or no? Are you agree with me or not? if your temperature is decreased from 0, at some point you can identify the resistance value is 0. See, we identify at 0 degree centigrade when you have any conducting material, right? At 0 degree centigrade, or you can assume as a room temperature, there will be some resistance value it is offered. But you can say that when the temperature is rise, at that time the resistance is also high. But by chance, if you say that if the temperature is decreased, it is possible when you use any conductor material in the icing mode or ice condition or the weather conditions such like the having a so much snowfall or that, can we say that the temperature is decreased and the resistance is also decreasing according to these characteristics? Yes or no? See, ideally, these characteristics actually indicating that after, if you extending this component to the other side, that means if the temperature is decreased, your resistance will meet over here. But this is not the case. This is ideal condition we assume. But in the actual case, this thing can happen. It is not exactly, we can say that 0 over here. And this is what you say that it is a practical condition or the actual condition in which if the temperature is decreased, the resistance is not exactly, you can see over here, there will be some resistance value it is offered. It is not 0. Ideally, this characteristics representing what the resistance, it will be 0 at minus T degree centigrade. But in actual case, it is not like that. This is the difference between the, you can say that the temperature rise condition, or you can say that the temperature we have less in this, and in this type of the situation. Are you agree with me on this one? If anybody having any confusion, please ask, but make sure that you will clear this doubt, or you'll understand this theory properly. So shall we go ahead now? See, any question or any confusion you have, you just write it down in the chat box section, right? But make sure that this thing is, which point you have not clear, tell me. Okay, all clear. Okay. I'm getting over here that see, the temperature decreased given over here, that actually indicating what? Suppose if you are assuming like in the north or south pole on the earth, what is the temperature you are expecting? It is below 0 degree. It is in terms of, you can say that is minus degree, or in the, you can say that all over the world, at some places in some of the countries, you can say that the situations they have like snowfall will be there, or ice condition will be there. Is it there? So at that time, the temperature, we can say that it is lower compared to this situation of 0 degree. So this case is actually representing what? When you have 0 degree temperature, like the example what I'm giving you right now. Suppose this is 0 degree centigrade. Let's say assume it is, yeah, it is 0 degree. The room temperature or the resistance value is offered over here, something value. But if you decrease the room temperature value or the temperature of that conductor. It is not just like that, the resistance is always to be zero. In practical situation, it is not possible. Your resistance is always zero. It is just ideally we are assuming that this point is meeting over here at minus t degree centigrade, or sorry, minus t0 degree centigrade. But in practical condition, the resistance is not zero. Okay. So now you all know this thing very well, I think, about the series parallel combination. Yes or no? Okay, just one thing I can do over here for your understanding purpose of that temperature and the resistance part. I will give you the parameters. Can you identify that the resistance temperature or the resistance over here by your calculation? So it will clear your idea more. Can I give you the example or a very short example over here? Can you do it, the calculation? Okay. Okay. So I will give you a question over here, that a copper wire we are using, right? I will give you the parameter. The copper wire having the resistance of 50 ohm at 10 degree centigrade. At 10 degree centigrade. What is the maximum operating point? Or what is the maximum operating temperature if the resistance of wire is to be increased by 20 percentage? Assume alpha at 10 degree centigrade is equal to 0.0041 centigrade. First of all, are you getting my question or not? First of all, tell me. See, I'm doing the calculation over here. You just see the next example I will give you for your homework. I will just take 1 or 2 minutes right now. So first of all, can you consider that R1? Okay, I will write with the another line so you can understand very well. Yeah. So R1 is equal to, the resistance is equal to 50 ohm. At that time, what is the temperature? T is equal to 10 degree centigrade. You have to identify the maximum operating temperature. That means this is a T1 given. You need to identify the T2. You have to identify the T2 component. But for that, the resistance is given, the condition is given over here. If the resistance of wire is to be increased of 20 percentage, that means what? R2, it is how much? 50. This is your original value. And increasing of 20 percentage, it is 0.2 multiplied by 50. So how much is that? It is 60 ohm now. Are you getting my point? The resistance of the copper wire at 10 degree centigrade is 50 ohms. That we are identify as R1. It is given over here that you have to identify at which temperature the resistance become a 20 percentage of, we can say that, the original resistance of wire. So R2 is identified over here is 60 ohm. We have to identify the T2 component. That is your value you have to identify it. The alpha 0 component is given over here, it is 0.0041 degree centigrade. So as I derive that equation that you will use over here, that RT2 is equal to what? RT1 into bracket 1 plus alpha T1, that is given, or alpha 0 is given, bracket T2 minus T1. So R2, this is 60, this is 50, 1 plus alpha 0 or alpha T1 is given 0.0041. T2 that you have to identify from this, and T1 that is of 10 degree centigrade. So can you identify from this equation what is T2? Yes or no? Can you identify the T2 from this? It is very easy calculation. So can you tell me that what is the value of T2 over here? Quickly calculate and tell me what is value of T2. So quickly identify. Yes, I am getting the answer from the Viswajit. That is correct answer. Viswajit, your answer is correct. Uh, all of you have done the calculation or not? Please tell me quickly. See, the correct answer is 58.78 degrees centigrade. This is your correct answer. Okay, so now this is, I think, clear to you. I will give one more example in the next session for the practice. So you just keep remember this equations over here. Okay. So now you can write down your enrollment number into the chat box section quickly. Write down your enrollment number into the chat box section quickly. Okay, so after writing your enrollment number, if you have any question, you can put it down in the chat box section, or you can leave the session now. If you don't have any question, you can leave the session now. So I can come to know that how many of you are just sitting ideally. That means you are not focusing in the lecture. That I can identify. Okay, Deep Vekaria, Derya Joshi, Meet, Yagni, do you have any questions here? Okay, so I'm ending the session here for all.